9 out of 10 traders overpay for the one computer part that does absolutely nothing to stop your charts from freezing at 9:31 in the morning. And they cheap out on the exact part that causes the freeze. Picture it. The market gaps up at the morning, you've got 3 platforms open, and your screen locks up with that little spinning wheel. Your execution window is frozen. The trade you wanted is gone, and you're sitting there thinking it's a fluke. It's not a fluke, it's your build. And most traders spend their money in the exact wrong order. Here's what I mean. Ask 10 traders what's the most important part of a trading computer, and 9 of them will scream, "The processor," without even blinking. They obsess over it. They lose sleep over benchmark scores. They pay an extra $2,000 for a chip that they'll never fully use. And then, this is the part that kills me, they cheap out on the one part that actually decides whether your chart stays smooth when the market goes bananas. So today, I'm doing something I've never done on this channel. I'm ranking every single part on a trading computer. A full tier list, S tier down to F tier. Now a quick key here so you're not lost. S means super, super important. A means extremely important, B means important, D means low importance, and F means don't bother. We're going to rank everything: the CPU, RAM, the GPU, the NVMe drive, the power supply, the motherboard, the cooling, the network card, and your monitors. And I promise you, at least one of these rankings is going to piss you off. Because a priority order for trading is nearly the opposite of what the internet tells you. Trading is not gaming, and before we're done, I'm going to tell you why not everyone is going to agree with me on this list, and why that's completely okay. And by the end of this, you're going to look at your setup completely differently. Let's start at the top, the S tier, the super important parts that matter the most. This is where your money goes first. And number 1, the part I'd rank above everything else, is your RAM. It's not the CPU, it's RAM. Here's why. Think of RAM like your desk surface. Every chart, every platform, every browser tab is a piece of paper on that desk. When the desk is big enough, everything stays spread out and instantly grabbable. But when your desk is too small, your computer starts shoving papers into a drawer and then yanking them back out every time you need them. The drawer is your hard drive, and that swapping is exactly what freezes your platform at the worst possible moment. I see this in support tickets every single week. A trader running NinjaTrader with 6 charts, thinkorswim on the side, a browser with 14 tabs, and a stock scanner. And on 32 gigabytes, it hums. Drop that same setup down to 16 gigabytes, and that machine starts choking during the open. Same processor, same everything else. The only difference is the RAM, the desk space. So S tier, top of the list, RAM. 32 gigs is your floor. 64 if you run heavy platforms or bots. That's where $1 goes. And RAM has company in the S tier because the CPU lives up here too. The processor is the engine of the machine and it belongs near the top. But here's the truth the spec-obsessed crowd doesn't want you to hear. More cores doesn't mean faster trading. Here's why. Your trading platforms, thinkorswim, NinjaTrader, all of them, they don't spread the load across dozens of cores. They lean on just a few fast cores. That means that single core speed is what actually pushes your charts, not the total core count. And that's exactly why a monster server chip can hurt you. An Intel Xeon, an AMD Threadripper, or an AMD EPYC, those are built for data centers and rendering farms, not for pushing charts. To pack that many cores onto a chip, the manufacturer slows each core down. So you're paying a fortune for cores that mostly sit idle, while the few your platform actually uses run slower than a good desktop chip. That's not faster execution. That's slower fills for more money. Now, before I get to the exact CPU number, let me hand you something that turns this whole tier list into an actual shopping list. I put together a free, complete guide to trading computers. It takes every one of these rankings and turns them into exact specs. Exact models, exact numbers, so you know precisely what to buy and what to skip. Grab it by clicking the link in the description or just click that QR code that's on your screen right now. You won't be disappointed. So here's the exact number so you're not guessing when it comes to a CPU. For trading, you want a multi-core benchmark north of 45,000. A solid desktop processor that clears that number is the sweet spot. Not below that number, but also not a 64-core server chip that you'll never fully use. So S tier is RAM and it's a CPU choice side by side. Buy a good processor. Don't remortgage the house for the top-of-the-line server chip built for a data center. The money you save there belongs in the RAM. And speaking of that benchmark number, I want you to know exactly where your machine stands right now instead of guessing. I built a free CPU benchmark test made specifically for traders. It tells you exactly how your computer stacks up for a real trading workload and whether you're above or below that 45,000 line. Click the link in the description and run it. Takes 2 minutes. Now let's talk about the A tier. These are the parts that matter enormously and are where the big box guys quietly screw you. First up, your power supply. And I know, no one gets excited about a power supply. It's the least sexy part in the box. But when it fails, it doesn't warn you. It just cuts the lights mid-trade. Here's a thing nobody ever tells you. Most off-the-shelf big box store computers come with an unrated power supply. This is exactly where these guys cut costs. It's invisible on the spec sheet, so they cheap out on it. And that's how you get screwed as a trader, because when that power supply goes out, your whole computer goes out. Your position's open, the market's moving, but everything's dead. So here's the exact target so you're not overspending. You want an 80 plus bronze or 80 plus gold rated power supply. The 80 plus rating tells you how efficiently the unit delivers clean, stable power. And gold is a sweet spot for reliability. You do not need to chase a platinum or a titanium rating for a trading machine. Gold is plenty. A cheap, unrated power supply feeding a $2,000 machine is like bolting a lawnmower gas can onto a race car. It's in the A tier because when it goes, everything goes. Also in the A tier, your NVMe solid-state storage drive. A lot of people out there expect this one in a lower class, but I'm putting it up here, and here's why. Your NVMe drive is where Windows lives. It's where your platform installs. It's where all your overflow data gets dumped when things get busy. A real NVMe drive moves data at thousands of megabytes per second. It loads your historical data at 929 in a blink instead of leaving you staring at a spinning wheel. And here's the catch that earns it A tier. It doesn't have to be huge. You don't need a massive drive, but it does need to be a top name brand and it needs to be genuinely fast. That means Generation 4, Gen 4, or Gen 5. A slow no-name drive or a SATA drive, or even worse, an old-school spinning hard drive will bottleneck the fastest machine on the planet during the open. You want name brand NVMe Gen 4, Gen 5. That's the A tier. Now here's the ranking that's going to start some arguments. Your graphics card, your video card is landing in the A tier too. Yeah, I know most people file GPU under gaming only, but not anymore. And here's a reversal that changed my mind. The latest versions of all major trading platforms now run AI modules. And to run those AI modules in the future, you will need a modern NVIDIA RTX 5000 series card. On top of that, if you're doing any kind of automated trading, AI bot trading or backtesting, the graphics card stops being a support player and it becomes the workhorse. Those workloads lean on that GPU hard. But I want to say this, and this is where most people set money on fire. You do not need a monster $4,000 card like an RTX 5090. That's overkill. You'll never use it, and it's built for gamers, not traders. A modern NVIDIA RTX 5060 will drive a full multi-monitor trading wall and handle those AI trading modules with room to spare. If you're running heavier automation or serious backtesting, an RTX 5070 with 12 gigabytes of VRAM is plenty. Match your graphics card to the job. A 5060 or a 5070 in the 5000 series, that's A tier. Now let's talk about the B tier, the parts that matter but usually get handled without a fight. Your monitors land here, and I can already hear the screen junkies losing their minds. Let me be clear. Monitors matter enormously for how you trade, how much you can see, how fast you react. But for raw computer performance, they don't move the needle. A gorgeous 6-monitor wall on an underpowered machine is a beautiful cockpit bolted to a go-kart. Get the guts right first, then build the wall. Also in the B tier, your motherboard. It's the nervous system that connects everything. And here's what actually matters on it. Make sure it's a brand name, Asus, Gigabyte, or MSI, and that it comes with a 3 to 5 year warranty. That warranty tells you the manufacturer trusts their own board to survive years of daily trading. What it does not need is to be covered in RGB lights. A $500 gaming board glowing like a Christmas tree does nothing for your order executions. You need rock solid, not fancy. A 3 to 5 year warranty, boring on purpose. B tier. And here's one thing people forget entirely, and that's your network card. Your fills travel over the network, and a solid wired connection matters, not Wi-Fi, wired. But most decent motherboards these days already include a perfectly good one, so it earns a B. It's an important component, but it's usually handled for you without spending a nickel extra. Which brings us to the D tier and the F tier, the stuff that either barely matters or actively hurts you. D tier, fancy cooling. Liquid cooling loops, gigantic radiators, glowing fans, the elaborate stuff. And here's a counterintuitive part. The fancier the cooling, the more moving parts. And the more moving parts, the more that can fail on you mid-session. For a workload where your CPU idles most of the day, that elaborate liquid setup is D tier. Yeah, they look pretty, but it's added risk for no reward. Now hear me carefully because there's an important exception. If you're running a high-end processor like an AMD Ryzen 9 9950X, a quality all-in-one liquid cooler is not a luxury. It's A tier. It's absolutely required to keep that chip cool and stable. The point isn't cooling doesn't matter. The point is match the cooling to the chip and don't pay for an exotic custom loop with a dozen failure points when a clean, sealed, all-in-one does the job. And now the F tier, dead last. Ready? The RGB lighting, the tempered all-glass cases, the glowing keyboard, those aesthetic upgrades that add absolutely zero to your executions. In fact, they may be a distraction. I'm not saying you can't enjoy a nice-looking machine. I'm saying not one photon of RGB lighting has ever improved a fill. If a computer is charging you extra for the light show while shipping you 16 gigs of RAM, run. So here's the whole list, the S tier, the super important tier. The RAM and the CPU together at the top. A tier, your power supply, your NVMe drive, and a modern RTX 5000 series graphics card. B tier, your monitors, your motherboard, and your network card. The D tier, exotic cooling with all its failure points. F tier, the light show. And that all-in-one radiator jumps up to A tier the second you run a high-end chip like a 9950X. And notice what just happened. That priority order is almost completely flipped from a gaming build because trading is not gaming. Your money flows to memory and a strong processor first, a solid power supply, the storage drive and the graphics card second, and everything the internet screams about last. Now here's the part I told you was coming. Not everyone's going to agree with me on this list. And you know what? That's okay. Some of you folks will fight me on the GPU. Some will fight me on the cooling. But I'll tell you where this comes from. Every desktop we build ships with a 5-year warranty and lifetime tech support. And the only way on earth we can stand behind a machine for 5 years is to use the highest quality version of every single one of these components. The RAM, the CPU, the power supply, the storage drive, the GPU, motherboard, all of it. You cut a corner anywhere and that warranty eats you alive. And that's not marketing, that's just how math works. But here's a twist I couldn't put on the tier list because it's not a part inside the box at all. It's the reason 2 traders can buy the exact same components on the exact same day and one machine stays rock solid while the other stutters at the open. It's how those parts are chosen, matched, and tuned to work together. If you get that wrong, and even an S-tier parts list disappoints you. Get it right, and a modest build outperforms a machine that costs twice as much. And that's the piece I break down in the complete guide to trading computers. And I'm going to keep breaking it down in my next video. And listen, if this tier list flipped the way you think about your own build, do me a solid, slap that subscribe button. I keep pulling these machines apart piece by piece so you always know exactly where your investment should land. And if you want to see the ultimate trading computer built from bare metal, part by part, this is the video to watch next. My name is Eddie Z. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the trend be with you.